You know, when you look around at the world, have you ever just stopped and wondered what makes everything so diverse? All the different plants, animals, and people. Well, there's this fundamental biological story that explains how all that incredible uniqueness gets created. So let's get into it.
And you know what? Let's make this really personal. Out of the nearly 8 billion people on this planet, there has never been, and will never be, another person exactly like you. So, why? What is it that makes you completely unique?
It's kind of wild to think about, but the answer starts at a scale you can't even see. It all begins with the fusion of two incredibly tiny specialized cells. Literally everything that makes you you kicks off at this one single moment. This is the very first sentence in your one-of-a-kind story.
What we're talking about, of course, is sexual reproduction. And at its core, it's a really profound idea. You take the genetic information from two different individuals and you combine it to create someone totally new.
Okay, so here's the official definition, but I want you to focus on those last few words. Genetically different offspring. See, that's the whole point. Unlike other ways of reproducing, the main goal here is to shuffle the genetic deck and create variety with every single new generation.
So how exactly does this shuffling happen? Well, it all comes down to the ingredients, these really special cells that carry the genetic recipes from each parent. We call them gametes.
A gamete is just a fancy word for a sex cell. For animals like us, we're talking about sperm and egg cells. But here's what makes them so special. They only carry half the genetic instructions needed to build a whole organism. They're actually incomplete by design.
And this half set of instructions has a scientific name. It's called a haploid nucleus. You can think of it like having just volume 1 of a 2-volume encyclopedia set. You absolutely need both volumes to get the complete story.
For us humans, that magic number for a haploid cell is 23. Every single gamete, whether it's a sperm or an egg, carries exactly 23 chromosomes.
All right, so if haploid means half, what do we call a full set? Well, that's a diploid nucleus. This is the complete blueprint, right? This is both volumes of the encyclopedia, with all the genetic instructions from both parents.
And you've probably already done the math. In humans, the diploid number is 46. That's the 23 from one parent plus the 23 from the other. Just about every cell in your body, your skin, your heart, your brain, has this full set of 46 chromosomes.
So let's put it all side by side, just to make it super clear. Haploid, 23 chromosomes, just one copy, and you find it in sex cells. Diploid, 46 chromosomes, 2 copies, found in all your other body cells. Getting this difference is absolutely key to understanding how this all works.
Okay, so we have our two halves of the story ready to go. Now we get to the most critical moment. The instant those two halves combine to create a brand new, whole, and totally unique individual. This is fertilization.
And this visual, wow, it just lays out the whole journey perfectly. You see the haploid sperm and egg up top, each bringing their 23 chromosomes to the party. They fuse, and boom, you get a diploid zygote with the full 46. And from there, it just starts dividing and growing into an embryo, always keeping that complete set of 46.
Let's just walk through that one more time, step by step. First, our two haploid cells, the gametes, find each other. Then comes that crucial moment of fertilization, when their nuclei actually merge into one. This creates a brand new single cell, called a zygote, now with the complete set of 46 chromosomes. And from that one cell, an entire person begins to form.
Now, you gotta admit, this whole process is pretty complex. It takes a ton of energy. From an evolutionary standpoint, it's a huge investment. You could even call it a gamble, one with some massive potential upsides, but also some pretty serious downsides.
So that brings us to the big question, right? What's the trade-off? I mean, why go through all this trouble to find a mate and combine DNA when, let's be honest, simpler methods of reproduction exist?
This table basically lays out the evolutionary accounting. Over in the advantages column, you have the huge payoffs. You get genetic variation, which means a species can adapt to change and is less likely to get wiped out by a single disease. But then look at the disadvantages. It takes a lot of time and energy. It's tough if you're isolated, and you end up with way fewer offspring. It's a total high-risk, high-reward strategy.
Let's really zero in on that number one advantage, because, man, it is a big one. Variation. This is the secret sauce for survival in a world that's always changing. Think about it. If a whole population is genetically identical, like clones, one new disease could kill everybody. Variation means there's always a chance that some individuals will have just the right combination of traits to survive and carry on.
But on the flip side, the costs are very real. I mean, compared to asexual reproduction, where an organism can just make a copy of itself, this is way less efficient. It demands a ton of time and energy just to find a partner, and it results in fewer babies overall. It's really a strategy of quality over quantity.
So, let's bring it all home. We've looked at the pros and cons, but it's pretty clear that for a huge number of species on Earth, including us, the benefits of variation have been the winning evolutionary bet.
This quote right here, it just sums up the whole game. Adaptation is everything in evolution. Without variation, a species is fragile. It can't bend when things get tough. It can only break. Variation is what gives life that incredible life-saving flexibility.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This is about more than just biology. It's a powerful idea. In a world that seems to be changing faster than ever, maybe this ability to be different, to be varied, to be unique, maybe that's our greatest collective strength. Something to think about.
You know